On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome inside episode 421 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains, and we're coming off our biggest month in show history, but now it's the Senators' turn. They've got an enormous month ahead. 15 games in November, and they're all in the first 27 games. It starts tonight in Chicago against a team who is full of controversy and still looking for their first win of the season. We'll have a full preview of that game. Why? With all their offseason moves, are the Hawks this bad? Plus, a look back of Friday's impressive 4-1 Senators victory, where Filip Gustavsson made 38 saves. Josh Norris had 2 goals, and Brady Tkachuk broke out the Frank the Tank Selly for the first time since signing his new contract. We'll get into all that. Plus, the Belleville Senators had a tough weekend against the Marlies. And did the Calder Trophy favorite just get sent to the minors? All that and more. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. Today is Monday, November 1st, and Pilsy, I'm feeling like an accountant heading into tax season. It's about to get real busy.
Well, hey, it's a busy period for us podcasters too, especially if you're the podcasters for the Locked On Senators podcast, because they're playing a lot of games in this month, and I'll take it, Ross. So October, although it was great to get hockey back, stoked, the excitement is there. It was a slow month for us, especially last week, only 2 games. So if we can get some more games in here to talk about, that's great for me.
And you look at the days off per week. You mentioned only 2 games last week, twice in the last 3 weeks. The only 3 weeks of the season, the Sens have had 3 days consecutive without a game. No longer is that. Next Sunday and Monday, no hockey. Senators hockey. That's the longest stretch this entire month until we hit the 28th. And imagine if the Sens are able to go anywhere above 500 on this month. How good are they feeling with 2 days off in California at the end of it? They play back-to-back Friday, Saturday in Anaheim, in Los Angeles on U.S. Thanksgiving weekend. And then it's just all up from there, so long as they put in the work necessary for victory. And that's a big point that DJ Smith has hammered home as the Senators are about to play their worst opponent statistically this season, as the Chicago Blackhawks are still looking for their first win in what will tonight be their 10th game of the year. They're 0-7-2. So we're going to have a full preview. But before I ask you about that, Pilsy, let's rewind to Friday. Again, we're a Monday to Friday daily podcast. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. But when the Sens play Friday, it feels like so long ago, but this game was worth looking back at, if not for the brilliance of Filip Gustavsson, where we have to start. 38 saves, including, what was it, Pilsy? 26 of them in the last 2 periods?
Yeah, he had a lot of work in the last 2 periods of that game. And what I like best about Filip Gustafsson's game, Ross, is there was a couple of kind of point-blank big saves he had to make, but really a lot of the struggles and most difficult spots for him were in scrambles in the net. He makes the save, everybody's collapsing towards the net. He's got to find that puck. He's got to stay big. He's got to stay in position. He's got to stay balanced, and he did a good job of that. And not only did he make sure he didn't leave any juicy rebounds or anything, he was able to smother the puck more often than not eventually. So for Filip Gustavsson to have that kind of game, I mean, I guess from now on, anytime the Sens play the Dallas Stars, Filip Gustavsson has to be the starter with winning both the games against the Stars this season. So definitely shout out Philly franchise.
He was certainly shining bright against Dallas. 26 shots against in the last 2 periods, and Ottawa only had 9 in that same span. How much would you contribute that to score effects? Because Ottawa got out to a 2-0 lead, Josh Norris, and then Brady Tkachuk were doing the damage. And get this, out of Ottawa's 2 shots in the second period, they shot 50% as Josh Norris got his second of the game, and the Senators were up 3-0 at that point. And really, that's when the ice tilted in Dallas's favor.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that was one of the examples of a road team coming out hot, firing on all cylinders. They get up to a couple of goals, and then the home team is like, all right, we got to shut this down. And we were talking about it in our preview. The Dallas Stars are a big, tough team. And I think after a period of playing fast, physical hockey, that starts to wear down on you. And the Sens might have been feeling that effect later on in the game.
So Ottawa took advantage of 20 Dallas giveaways. Ottawa only had 8 in the game. 20 giveaways.
And they capitalize on them. That's the difference here, Ross, because I feel like often the Senators, they get the turnover luck, but they just can't finish it. And this time, when you turn the puck over in the slot and you've got your top line with Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, and Drake Batherson there, they're going to do damage.
Pillsy, the most Ryan Suter stat line of all time. He is my Ryan Suter is to your Mitch Marner. Like, I just can't stand the way this guy plays. How's this for a stat line? Leading all defensemen in time on ice, like he always does.
Duh.
No goals, no assists, even, no shots, 1 hit, and 3 giveaways. So thanks for coming out, Ryan Suter. But you look at the other stat, and you mentioned the big bodies on Dallas. 33 hits for Dallas, only 16 for Ottawa. And when you put that together with the amount of shots, clearly Dallas carried possession in the second half of the game, but still more than doubled Ottawa in hits. So shout out to the Sens for their resiliency. And that was personified on the 4th goal that Ottawa scored, where Tim Stützle takes a big hit along the boards, gets the puck into open ice, and Connor Brown from downtown gets his first goal of the season. We mentioned the momentum shift in this game. How much was that a discredit to Neville Gallimore, the Dallas Cowboys defensive end, who showed up to the game wearing an Ottawa Senators jersey, and then they had a little fun. And credit to the in-game ops staff for going out, giving him a custom Dallas Stars jersey. If you're watching on YouTube, I just pulled up the clip because he had to represent his hometown. The only Ottawa-born player currently in the National Football League for the league's most valuable franchise. Pretty cool seeing him cheering on the Ottawa Senators. But right when they gave him the Stars jersey, the Stars get on the board.
Yeah, that was a fun story, and I don't really know too much about him, but he seemed like a fun guy. Like, he was having a good time with the fans, kind of teasing, like, oh, I'm going to take this jersey off. No, I'm keeping it on. And he was on point. When he had the Sens jersey shining, they were scoring. And then, like you mentioned, he put the Dallas jersey on. Dallas gets a goal, but he was smart and knew to keep with the Sens for the rest of the game, and that's how it went. The only thing there, Ross, is Sens, you got to step up here. Dallas gets him a fresh jersey day of at the game, and he's rocking an old 3D logo. Come on.
Yeah, you'll need to get the XXXL jersey out for Neville Gallimore, an absolute star defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys. And yeah, the TSN broadcast was absolutely loving it.
They were all over it. Yeah.
Credit to them for that still frame we used just there. But I love that they kept going back to them. And did you see him dab up another Sens fan in the crowd towards the end of the game? Went and said what up. So we got to see him at the CTC in the offseason. And while we're on that note, how about the tweet here from Zach Vislusis? I am butchered the heck out of that. But Zach tweeted at us saying that he was the only Sens fan in enemy territory last night. And we love that. So if you're going to the game tonight in Chicago, if you're going tomorrow in Minnesota, anytime the Sens are on the road, we want you to tweet at us at Sens Central, and we'll get the Sens Central bump it needs. As Zach went from 0 followers when he posted that to double digits now, and we love it, Zach. Keep representing the boys in enemy territory. What's your Sens Central standout? We'll do one each before moving on. Again, this game was in the rearview mirror, but man, there were some very solid performances again from the Senators' top guns.
Absolutely. And Ross, I'll leave some of the more obvious ones to you because there's one that I want to really highlight here, and that's Artem Zub. I thought, we know he's been a great player for the Sens this year. The Zub chant is unreal. Zub Nation, stand up. He played 24 minutes, 36 seconds, and that he had a nice assist. And he was able to get a solid pass from basically his own net to Alex Formenton, breaking up the middle. Alex Formenton obviously gets away from the defenders. He gets a breakaway, does a nice backhand move, but can't elevate it past Braden Holtby's pad. But Artem Zub, for this guy to come in, we've been questioning for years who is going to be Thomas Chabot's partner, who can finally make this work. And Artem Zub seems like he is indeed that guy. And it's unfortunate because we also need Artem Zub on our second pair, and we also need Artem Zub on our third pair. So to have him on the first pair with the best defenseman on the team isn't great for the rest of the squad, but man, he's playing so good, and that contract's looking great. They need to work on locking him up even more long term, in my opinion.
Yeah, did you mention the 4 block shots he had as well?
No, I didn't even notice that. That's the thing. Like, not only can he be the defensive yin to Thomas Chabot's offensive yang, but he can pass the puck up as well, block shots. He really, like him and Nick Ball, they do it all.
They certainly do. And I'll mention for my Sen Central standouts, it's the similar way that the decor is moving, and that's the top line has been
heavy.
So good. So I'm just shouting out the entire
Nice.
top line for this Ottawa Senators team. Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, and Drake Batherson, all U.S. born. We know Drake is a proud Canadian Maritimer, but he was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, while his dad was in the midst of his pro hockey career. So that trio, yes, Drake has played in the States before, so has Brady. But Josh Norris, when he had that 3-game call-up where he assisted on Bobby Ryan's hat trick, that very emotional one, that was all in Ottawa, all 3 of those games. Then the Canadian division last year, this was his first NHL game in his home country, and he gets 2 goals. And I don't need to tell you this because I feel like it's always the case, but he's right up there. And he was under 50% in the faceoff circle. That's pretty rare occurrence for him. Ottawa got dominated again, 58% for Dallas in the faceoff dot. But this guy really does it all. And the more I watch him, the more I'm enthralled. And I just follow him around. I find myself finding he knows how to get to soft areas on the ice as good as anybody else on this team. And does Drake Batherson get enough credit for his playmaking ability? I don't think so. And it's crazy to say that, and it's perfect transition. We'll hit the ad first, but we got a star of the week. Forget a Sen Central standout, Pilsy. An NHL second star of the week. And man, this guy is becoming appointment viewing. So if you live out of market or if you're not able to catch every game, make sure you hit up DirecTV Stream, because I know that you have one device that lets you catch the game live, another that you're trying to stream your favorite shows. You know, you've got your kids watching sports highlights in the other room, and you need your best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way that gets all that entertainment you love without the hassle. And it's a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. That way, you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. The best part is there's no annual contract either, so you can get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. All right, Pilsy. So Drake Batherson coming off a Sen Central standout performance where he had 2 assists. And I mean, it took them an extra day to add that assist on the first goal, but it was well-deserved. He is the second star of the week in the National Hockey League.
You gotta love it. And anytime the Sens get recognition for Stars of the Week, that's massive, because this is a team where I think finally the league is starting to notice and appreciate the talent here. Like, I think maybe last year, Drake Batherson sort of had his coming out party, but I don't think he was put on league-wide notice quite yet. Maybe during his goal streak, the 7 games where he scored, definitely. Yeah. But I think now people are starting to recognize that this is top-end talent that the Sens have here with Norris, Batherson, Tkachuk, like Stützle, obviously. Like, these guys, they're young in their careers, but they're only just beginning. They're going to get so much better, so I can't wait to watch more of them.
Honestly, the development curve of Drake Batherson, I tweeted it out at Sen Central. They need to study this in laboratories, and we need professors on the case, scientists, because he was passed over his first time through the NHL draft. Nobody wanted him, not even a sniff, not even a 7th-round pick. The next year, the Ottawa Senators and Trent Mann, whose East Coast roots led him to Drake Batherson, took him in the 4th round. Nobody even had him in their final draft rankings. He was just this 5'10" kid that nobody had heard of. What does he do the next year? Scores 7 goals in 7 games at the World Juniors, wins a gold medal, assists on the gold medal clinching goal. Then the next year, he steps into the AHL. What does he do? Right in front of our eyes, Pilsy, wearing number 7? Wearing number 7 for the Belleville Senators. He goes out and puts on an absolute clinic. Enough so, the development process for him was they wanted him to play that full year in Belleville, right?
Yep.
Well, he earned a call-up. He played 20 NHL games, had 3 goals, 6 assists, and then Pilsy played less games the next year in Belleville, but was absolutely ridiculous for those B-Sens. And, just take it away from there. This guy's curve going up to what he produced, not only in his rookie year, but now this guy's over a point per game, 8 points in 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, when we got to see Drake Batherson in his last season in the AHL, that 2020 season that didn't end up finishing because of COVID, man, oh man, was he killing it.
Best player in the league. 54 points in 44 games. Best as a 21-year-old.
Yeah, that arena was buzzing. Drake Batherson was the guy in the town of Belleville when the Sens were playing. It was just electric. Josh Norris was amazing as well. Formanton, all those guys when they were together in Belleville are amazing. And they're keeping it going up in the NHL. Let's go.
Absolutely. So Drake Batherson and Pilsy, he played 2 games this week.
Yeah, that is crazy. Week. Yeah.
The guy who wins 3rd star of the week was Alex Killorn, and no disrespect to the back-to-back Stanley Cup winner, but they had the same amount of points, 6 points, but Killorn had an extra game. And Stick Taps, goalie-friendly show, Jacob Markstrom, 2 shutouts in 3 games. Okay, we can tip our hat to that, hey?
Yeah, definitely you can respect that, absolutely.
So Drake Batherson finishes his week with 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points. What do you see him as an encore tonight as the Senators head into Chicago, the United Center, for the first time for a lot of these kids? It's an electric building at the best of times, but right now it's the worst of times for a Chicago team that is struggling on and off the ice, tripping over themselves in the media as well, really not taking any responsibility for what was a complete horrific moment, probably the most scumbag situation in the last decade, 2 decades, generation in the National Hockey League. 8 p.m. start Eastern time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing, right? Anytime you put winning above all else and you
morality
kind of, real human issues to the side to lift a 35-pound trophy, that's not the right mindset. And that's a mindset that needs to change. So the Chicago Blackhawks, they've got their work cut out for them. Let's just say that. And they haven't won a single game this season. So if you're the Ottawa Senators, you need to step on this team's throat. Do not give them an inch of light. Do not give them any sort of breathing room. Right off the hop, let's get some quick goals going. Drake Batherson, that top line is going to continue to roll. They got Marc-Andre Fleury tonight, which Ross, I know you got the stats for Fleury up against the Sens.
Buddy.
It's as a Vegas Golden Knight, it was definitely tough. And even throughout his whole career, he's kind of had the Sens numbers, at least in the win column.
Exactly. And we'll get to that briefly. And there is a fun storyline. Matt Murray, and talk about bearing the lead a little bit, but Matt Murray will start for the Ottawa Senators tonight. He hasn't played a full game yet this season, but
that's crazy.
He looked pretty good against New York, though, right? In those 56 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a good timing for Matt Murray because you want your first, I say it all the time. We know Matt Murray is a confidence-based goalie. He can be very low confidence and you'll see it and he's not going to perform well. If he's high confidence, it's tough to beat him. So ease him back into this with a team that is down and out, worse than any team in a long time. They're getting booed in their own arena every single night. So give Matt Murray kind of, a soft pitch to really crack out of the park here. Give him an easy one.
Bobby Mueller. Shout out to Bobby Mueller at Super Mueller 12 writing in on the show saying that Murray has always played his best hockey when Marc-Andre Fleury is in the building.
Doesn't have to be on a different team either. If he's on the same team, he might even play a little better. But yeah, that's another thing. Matt Murray, he's going to want to show people that, hey, sure, Marc-Andre Fleury won the Vezina, but whatever. I got 2 cups over him.
And an AHL Rookie of the Year, which is something that Cole Caufield might be able to win this year.
Yeah, I mean, Calder Trophy, more like Calder Cup.
Oh, yikes. That being said, we'll touch on that at the end of the show. Continuing the preview, my key to a Senators victory, is turn the fans on their own team. And this is going to be easier said than done. This is a Blackhawks team that's been booed off their own home ice multiple times this year. And honestly, it's embarrassing to be a Chicago Blackhawks fan right now. I think you look at some of the lifelong fans that they've had, they're not putting their jerseys on. They're embarrassed to be associated with this scumbag organization. And you can say they're trying to go in the right direction now. I think all the statements prove otherwise. Kyle Beach has come out and saying they're trying to discredit his lawsuit in court still. So I have absolutely zero respect for this organization. And I think a lot of their fans feel the same way.
Yep.
So if Ottawa scores early here, the Boo Birds are going to come out. Maybe we can get a Bronx cheer for Marc-Andre Fleury, who stood on his head in their last game, a 1-0 shutout loss to the St. Louis Blues, where Fleury, I believe, made 36 saves. But this team has no offense. However, Pilsy, so that's my key to the game, is take the fans, not only take them out of it, but turn them against their own team. But it's going to be a little harder for Ottawa, or should we say a bit of a boost for Chicago, as Patrick Kane is out of COVID protocol and their best player is back in the lineup.
Yeah, that's massive for the Blackhawks, big time. And the thing, too, if I'm going to give my key to the game, it's similar to yours, is get to an early lead, because this team just has no backbone right now. Like, I feel like everybody on that team, they're not playing for the Chicago Blackhawks because, like you said, people are embarrassed to be associated with it. They all seem like they're playing for themselves. Like, I watched the highlights of that Blues Blackhawks game. Pucks were being turned over, no back checks. Fleury's left hung out to dry. Like, it's just, there was no signs of a team that's bonding together, working towards the same goal. So get up to a 1-0, even 2-0 lead early, and I don't think they have what it takes to come back here. So that's definitely a big key for me, is early lead.
Another piece to watch for is the power play of the Chicago Blackhawks. But on the other hand, so the Chicago Blackhawks have given up a power play goal against, or a shorthanded goal against, I should say, in 4 of their last 5 games. Now, on the flip side, they've scored a power play goal in 7 of their 9 games. And of course, not in last game. They didn't score a goal at all. But especially with Patrick Kane back, try to stay out of the penalty box. You don't need to go chasing an extra hit. This team is not as physical, not as big as the Dallas Stars. Hell, their most physical player left in the offseason, Nikita Zadorov. So you're not going to see this team run around chasing hits. They don't have the Brent Seabrooks of years past. Like, this is a team that you just want to outskill, out-talent. And it's not often, right? Usually the Sens are on the other side of, saying that any team can beat any team in this league. But right now, Ottawa should be a clear favorite tonight in this matchup. And for Ottawa, how are you going to adjust to being the favorite? And I think the players are all saying the right thing. It comes down to focusing only on their own game.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing. You don't need to look at the opponent every night. If you know you've got a brand of hockey, and DJ Smith knows that you like, and when the players buy in, it's successful, stick to that. And I think that's what's going to happen here. That's why I think it's very likely that the Sens hop out to an early lead, because they've been playing some of the best first period hockey that I've seen this team play in a long time. So that's always nice to enjoy. And yeah, I think you were talking about the Blackhawks power play. That's going to get a lot stronger with Patrick Kane getting back into the lineup. But I think the key for the Sens here is to dominate at even strength, because they've got players like Alex DeBrincat, arguably one of the best snipers in the league right now. But 5-on-5, I don't see him doing a lot. And if he doesn't have the support with him, he relies on those power play points. So don't let them get on the power play. Don't let Kane and DeBrincat get hot there. Struggle with them and battle with them at 5-on-5. And I think the Sens are able to outmatch them here, because this Chicago Blackhawks decor is also not very good. I mean, Seth Jones is supposed to be their cornerstone guy, and he's a -10 right now, although he does lead the team in points with 7 assists, but a -10 for a guy of that caliber that you invested so much into and will still continue to invest so much into is not a good look. And Ross, that game-winning goal of the St. Louis Blues, Torrey Krug shot, deflected off Jones and went in. So,
his first goal of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, so he's obviously got a chip on his shoulder too. Especially, that's got to be tough for guys like Jones, especially. But Jones, Fleury, you're going to the Chicago Blackhawks organization, and then this happens. And Jones, you signed like an 8-year deal to be with this team, and now this is how things get started off. for the team and for him, that's a big time yikes situation.
Big time yikes. Now, if you're looking from a Sens point of view, they're tied for 7th in goals in their first period. So that goes to our point of trying to jump on them. But alternatively, in third period scoring, no team has scored less goals than Ottawa in the third period.
Yeah.
They're tied with the Dallas Stars, only 3 third period goals. 3. That's it in 7 games played. So I think get out to the early lead, that's great, but try to continue it into the third period. Don't just hold on for dear life. Try to double down, right? Like they thought they did that against the Rangers. Remember, they scored a minute into the third period, felt good. No, didn't end up going that direction, but I'm watching for that third period as well. So I'm keeping my eye on that. My lookout player is Seth Jones, and we'll get to our locked on players. I'll ask Pilsy who he's looking out for, and we'll touch on the demotion of the Calder Trophy favorite. All that after. Pilsy, a word from our friends at Built Bar.
Yep, guys, I think Built Bar, they would have had a great opportunity. Halloween just happened, and you know those little bite-sized candy bars that you get? Well, if you're thinking, hey, I want those candy bars, but if you have a million of them the day after, you're going to feel like garbage. That's not going to do good for your health. But what if there was a protein bar that tastes just like a candy bar? Well, let me tell you, that is a real thing, and it is Built Bar. And they have the perfect Built Bites. They're small little protein bars. That would have been great for handing out candy. You get the kids something covered in 100% chocolate, soft, easy to chew texture, and amazing flavors with health benefits. Lots of fiber, lots of protein, not many calories, not much sugar. It's the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. It's Built Bar. And guys, we talked about it on our last episode. They have a mystery flavor out right now. No one knows what it is. Let's have a Locked On Senators listener figure out what this mystery flavor is. I'm going to be trying myself. I'm going to be going to built.com. And right now, mystery flavor is 10% off. So you're enticed to check it out and try it. But we'll do even better than that. Since you're a loyal Locked On Senators listener, we're going to get you a promo code. So head to built.com today. Punch in promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your next order at Built Bar. Guys, one more time, it's built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15, 15% off your next order. It's Built Bar, the protein bar that tastes just like a candy bar.
All right, Pilsy, we got to say a big thank you to everyone who has supported the podcast over this last 2+ years where we've really become a daily show. Not so much the sporadicness that was from 2018 all the way through, but we just had 1,000 subscribers and then some on YouTube. So we wanted to take a moment to say thank you. It's just the beginning of Locked On Senators, and the community is just unbelievable for Sens fans. So we just want to make it a little bit better to be an Ottawa Senators fan. And to do that, we've got a few thank yous. And one of them will be that we're going to do it at random. Someone to come to an Ottawa Senators game on us. Sorry.
The tickets.
Excluded. The tickets to come.
Unless we get an airline sponsor in the meantime, and they can hook us up maybe. So
yeah, we're always looking for new sponsors. So if you'd like to sponsor the pod, always DM us on Twitter at Sens Central. So we are going to do that. Trevor McNeil, I didn't forget about you, buddy. The Ray Emery autograph card is yours. And Pilsy, we got one more surprise, but we're going to have to tease a little further. I will say we have booked the biggest guest in Locked On history.
Yeah, definitely one of our biggest guests for sure, and I'm so excited.
The biggest.
Yeah, all right. I can.
The biggest.
I can give you that. We'll give you that. Yeah, definitely.
No disrespect to Timmy.
Jake Sanderson.
Igor.
What I want to mention too is, like Ross said, we're so thankful to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's so massive for us. We did it. This YouTube page started July 27th, and we're already past 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for that. And big shout out to all the people that when we were doing our subscriber polls, trying to get more people to help out, the people that retweeted that and said that vouched for us, I'm a listener. You guys got to subscribe, help these guys out. That means a lot to us because you guys don't have to do that. All the people that did it already are subscribing. That's more than enough to help us out. But to try to entice other people and convince them that, hey, this is worth your time, we really appreciate that. That means the world to us.
And what better transition than to say that we have reached out to a few Send Central citizens for coming up, because that's one of our favorite segments. We've taken some time off it. There's been so much fluctuation. If you hear at the start of the show, I've been in a million different places. Pilsy drove across the entire country, but now we're back settled in our current home bases, which means we have to start looking at the calendar of when we can make our next visit to Ottawa for another Senators game, and we need to get back to our Send Central citizens. So we're going to be going to Ottawa. We met an absolute group of beauties at the game. So Luke Skinner is going to join us on Friday, I believe, if it works out. And he's going to the game on Thursday night. So the timing will be solid for him.
Awesome.
And then we're going to New South Wales back to Australia. We go. Lincoln Barry is going to join us as well. So Send Central citizens are back in the hopper. We're waiting to figure out Lassie Thompson at some point, but lots coming down the pipeline in the world of Locked On Senators. So keep it Locked On Senators on YouTube, Instagram, LockedOn.Senators, and on Twitter @Send Central. Pilsy, what are your thoughts? We mentioned Matt Murray will play tonight. And just to finish the thought, Marc-Andre Fleury against the Ottawa Senators, 34 games. He's 17-10-2, but with a goals against average above 3 and a save percentage below 900. So there have been games where Ottawa's been able to get to Fleury. Of course, the most notable is that playoff game 3 where Zach Smith's wraparound ultimately ended his time with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Matt Murray, great opportunity for him tonight. How do you think they should have divided? Because DJ Smith said that Gus is going to get one of the games, and Murray, well, we thought it was going to be Forsberg. He might even be on waivers. We're recording just before 1 o'clock. There should be a corresponding roster move. But how do you think of the decision to play Murray tonight against Chicago and Gus tomorrow in Minnesota?
I like the decision. And just quickly on the Forsberg waivers, I feel like it almost makes more sense to send a guy like Logan Shaw or Sabrin down, and keep 3 goalies for now, just until we're fully sure Matt Murray is 100% healthy. And let's have him make it through an entire 60 minutes of a hockey game before we start relying on him in one of the busiest months in the entire season here. So I think that's definitely something they should look into. Sure, having 3 goalies all the time is not a viable solution. But for now, I think it might be necessary to have as an insurance plan there. Especially, you don't want to put too much on Gus's shoulders right here so early. So back to your original question, I think this is the way to do it. Like, let's get Matt Murray up against a team that has 0 wins. They're one of the most disliked organizations in the entire league, and it's a good chance for him to build up some confidence. And then the Minnesota Wild, that's a tough task. And I feel like they have a very similar team to the Dallas Stars. So I think definitely, and a good mix of vets and young kids, right? Similar to the Dallas
vets
Stars.
like Kirill Kaprizov.
yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. I think Gustavsson has shown he can handle the Dallas Stars. I think in turn he can handle the Minnesota Wild. So get Matt Murray the easy one, hopefully. And
stop.
Well, I mean, let's just look at the numbers.
Spade a spade.
That's the thing, right? So having Patrick Kane definitely changes things, but I think this was the right way to do it.
Another reason to watch on YouTube, if you saw my jaw just drop while Pilsy was talking, my girlfriend's been out all day. She literally came back. No free ads, but Popeyes is now sitting on the table from when we're done recording. So I was pretty happy, and now she's gone again. So, hey, thanks for coming out. Really appreciate that. However, Pilsy, back to news around the hockey world. And again, you can follow us on Twitter @SendCentral. We're going to be live tweeting tonight's game, 8 p.m. Eastern. The Senators trying to extend into a win streak. They lost 3 in a row. Then they get the victory against Dallas. Now, can they get the ball rolling and pile some wins together? That certainly hasn't been the case with the Montreal Canadiens, who are 2-8 with a -15 goal differential to start the year.
Even they were able to beat the Blackhawks, Ross.
Wow. That really puts it in perspective. However, they haven't been able to beat many other teams. I think their only other win was against Detroit. So they've beaten Detroit and Chicago. Slow clap for the Montreal Canadiens, but they've now decided that Cole Caufield is not NHL ready. He's back to Laval. What are your thoughts when you saw that come across the wire?
Well, I mean, my first thought is how many draft tweets is Ross going to send out from multiple accounts based on this? But then the second thought is, I'm not so sure that, and sorry, Ross, this is kind of raining on your parade a little. I'm not so sure that this is as much as an indictment on Cole Caufield as it is on the Montreal Canadiens
Oh, I'm
organization
here for
right now,
that. I'm here
right?
for
Like,
that.
that's the thing. I don't think they're saying there's problems with you and you are the problem. I think they're saying, all right, this is someone that we're going to be, I mean, he's a big part of our future. Let's not have him hanging around this Habs team because this Habs team is in a low place, and you don't need your young guys to be around for that. And Laval, we saw it. Their arena there is pretty epic, so he's going to get still a pro experience going down there, and he's right down the road, so it's not hard for them to call him back up if necessary. So yeah.
No goals in 10. Yeah, no goals in 10 games, only 1 assist for Cole Caufield. And meanwhile, Nick Suzuki, who just signed a $63 million contract that kicks in next year, he has no goals in 10 games as well. So tough times if you're the Montreal Canadiens, very reminiscent of the 2017-18 Ottawa Senators coming off a conference final berth for the Habs. It was the Stanley Cup final. And it goes so far down that Chris Weidman assisted on a Mike Hoffman goal in their last game. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, I'm happy for Chris Weidman getting another crack at the NHL. Mike Hoffman, meh.
Good. That is right. Hey, so actually, Mike Hoffman had a sick OT goal against Chicago Blackhawks once upon a time, Ottawa's opponent. Tonight, you should look that up. It's a foot race, Carlson, and Carl chips it to Hoffman. It was absolute beauty goal. Nice. If you want something to search up on YouTube right after you're done watching Locked On Senators on YouTube. Okay, Pillsy, a couple minutes left. Who is your lookout player? I said Seth Jones. Who do you have tonight from the Hawks?
Well, it's got to be Patty Kane. I mean, he's coming back out of COVID protocol. He's easily that team's best player, kind of the face of the franchise there. I would say a bigger part of it than Jonathan Taves, at least for the entertainment value. So he's going to be coming back, and he's going to want to turn things around quickly. That's a boost. You know, that's something they can hold on to is Patty Kane coming back into the lineup. So they're going to be trying to kind of have a moral victory around that and use that to propel them forward. But
you just say the Hawks and moral in the same sentence?
I mean, that's something that's not often combined these days. That's for sure. But that's something they're going to be looking at. You got to think of. So I'm going to be watching out for Patty Kane here.
The Ottawa Senators are underdogs at betonline.ag, just so you know. Get them at plus 121 right now. If you're not doing that, oh my God. You have to be all over that. The Senators are underdogs in this game. My locked on player is Drake Batherson. How can it not be? Second star of the week, and he's plus 250 to score a goal tonight at betonline.ag. So why would you not get on that? And if you want to get real crazy, you know exactly where I'm going with this, don't you? You know exactly where I'm going. Drake Batherson, 3 or more points, is hitting at plus 1,072. Now, to put this in perspective, last year when I started doing it, it was plus 2,800. Yeah. So now it's cut in less than half because people are realizing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now even Vegas is on that. They're like, okay, we can't be giving those odds for Batherson 3-point nights.
And if I'm going off the Sens top line, how about Connor Brown, who's looked very much more like himself in the last few games? He scored his first goal of the year against Dallas. To get him at a point or more is plus 104. So I'm going to be hammering that as well. Pillsy, who's your locked on player?
My locked on player, and he's been my guy for a couple games here, is going to be Alex Formenton. I mentioned that great breakaway opportunity he had. He had all the time and space to get the move he wanted. He just couldn't elevate that backhand over Braden Holtby's pad there. And he had another, it was kind of a bang-bang play, but again, Holtby just got a pad on it, and he's had a couple breakaway opportunities up against Washington. He had some chances. So that's a guy I'm expecting. He's going to keep getting those chances. He's put in a good spot. I love him on that third line with Tierney and Ennis. He's got the speed. If he gets the puck, he's gone. So I'm going to be locked onto him and looking for him to finish off those chances.
And you hope to see Timmy finish one off just for his confidence, because he has been humming and he just had his first multi-point game of the season. So that's great for Timmy. I'm sure he's feeling very nice, and you'd love to see him be able to light the lamp. We will find out more, but the expected lineup tonight is Norris, Tkachuk, Batherson. Nick Paul stays at center between Tim Stützle and Connor Brown. Tierney, Formenton, Ennis, and the fourth line that played really well against Dallas. Stick taps to Zach Sanford.
How about that back check?
Unbelievable back check in the third period.
And he made it look easy too, which was nice to see. Like, he wasn't like huffing and puffing. He had straight, smooth strides. And the key there too is he timed that poke check perfectly.
Yep. No penalty. Yep. Just an absolute beautiful play. On defense, Shabbat Zoo, Holden Zaitsev, Mete and Josh Brown. Matt Murray gets the start. You can follow along on Twitter at Send Central for up-to-minute news, stats, and analysis. But for today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast. Your team every day.